Throughout the pre-draft process, plenty of players have really improved their draft stock and really hit a stride and have shown their worth to NFL teams. One of these players is Miami cornerback Tyrique Stevenson, who showed flashes of his athleticism in college but has really improved his draft stock after a good showing at both the Senior Bowl and the Combine. Hey guys, welcome back. And before I get into it, let me know what players you want to see me break down next. I've done a bunch of these videos already, so be sure to check those ones out. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you are new, and leave a comment and let me know what you guys think of Tyrique Stevenson and where you think he goes in the 2023 NFL Draft. But without further ado, let's get into it. In the modern NFL, many teams are consistently drafting traits. They might pass on the more talented guy for the guy with higher upside. We see it at every position. Teams may not necessarily take the most polished, refined prospect. They like to take the risks here. I think that's the case with Tyrique Stevenson. While he has some really good points in his game, he is still fairly raw at the position, but he has some incredible physical tools that I think are going to blow teams away. Stevenson did all the drills at the Combine and tested relatively well in just about everything, and had a 4.45 40-yard dash and was the 18th in athletic score amongst cornerbacks. One of the best part about Stevenson as a prospect is his size. Coming in at 6 foot, 198 pounds, with a very nice 32-inch wingspan, Stevenson possesses some very nice physical tools you like to see from a cornerback and has some nice size. That, mixed with some of his athletic tools and speed, make him a very intriguing prospect. Stevenson is really good in man coverage, and I think that is where his strengths lie the most. He is sticky in man coverage and can use his speed to match a wide receiver stride for stride. He benefits most from playing in press man. He has a good punch to knock wide receivers off their route and has good ball skills as well. He racked up 21 pass deflections at Miami. He did struggle to get interceptions from time to time, and he only had 3 interceptions total throughout his collegiate career, but he is still a very solid man corner who has shown some great strengths in man coverage. Another area of Stevenson's game that I like is his tackling ability. He has good technique in tackling and is a very physical hitter who wants to make a play. I do think his open field tackling could use some improvement, as he showed weaknesses in the open field from time to time, but I think that is something that a DB coach can try and work on at the next level, because the intangibles are there and he has good technique. He just needs to work on finishing the play when he's left with no help on the backside. Stevenson does have some weaknesses in his game. The most glaring weakness to me was his stiffness. He struggles in changing directions. He doesn't have very fluid hips to move with a wide receiver or whoever he is matched up against, and that is something he needs to work on. If a wide receiver breaks off into a quick move, he doesn't have that quickness to shift his hips and move with the wide receiver, and he's not very twitchy at all. He doesn't have super quick reaction time, and like I said, his change of direction is a little slow, his hips don't move amazingly, so I want to see Tyrique really improve in that area of his game. I also was not wowed by Stevenson in zone coverage. It seemed he got lost in his zones from time to time and allowed big plays, and he just didn't show me a ton on tape that showed me his zone defense was a big strength of his. I think he will work best in a primary man-to-man scheme where he can win battles with athleticism and match up one-on-one. It seems he lacks aggression in zone coverage, and speaking of a lack of aggression, he didn't show an eagerness to come down and make very many plays in the run game as much as I would like to see from my corners. He's a good tackler, and we know he can make the plays, he just didn't do it at a super high level. That wasn't kind of the plays he was used to doing. So I'd like to see him improve in the run game and in zone coverage as well. Another area Stevenson struggles on is allowing deep plays. I'm not quite sure why this is, but on vertical routes or deep balls, while he usually can keep a wide receiver in front of him, run stride for stride with him, once it gets to a certain length, he really slows down, his top end speed isn't there, and he allows big plays down the field, which is pretty concerning. It is odd because he's really good against short or intermediate routes, so I'm unsure why he struggles down the field. That's a pretty big weakness of his. Stevenson has shown some development each year, both at Georgia where he started his collegiate tenure and Miami. Some suggest due to his struggles to move his hips, he may translate better to a safety at the next level, which I think he would be a fantastic safety option if he can prove as an open field tackler. He's got good ball skills that could really help on the back end, isn't going to rack up a ton of interceptions, good tackler, and that also doesn't put him in as many one-on-one coverages where teams can expose these deep ball weaknesses. Coming up with a comp for Stevenson was a bit difficult. The name that came to mind, though, was Budda Baker. As we mentioned, I think Stevenson might work best as a safety at the next level, and him and Budda Baker had nearly identical numbers at the collegiate level in terms of stats, and have a nearly identical frame. While I think Baker is the much better tackler between the two, and that showed for him when he played for Washington, I think their coverage skills are very similar, but as I said, this is one of the toughest comps for me to make. Comps are pretty tough, especially for corners, but I decided to settle on Budda Baker, so I want to hear what you guys think of that comp. Stevenson has some amazing development upside. Great size, good speed, all the intangibles are there, and teams are going to want a big, strong, physical cornerback who is good in man coverage and has the physical tools that Stevenson possesses. They may look past some glaring weaknesses in his game to try and see if they can turn him into something special. We see it every year, someone reaches on a guy that's a little bit raw, and they end up panning out. I think Stevenson could be that guy in this draft. You can see the upside there, and ultimately, I think Tyrique Stevenson will be selected in the top 50 of the 2023 NFL Draft.